reading today? Well, join me and let's look at what I have on my July TBR. Okay, I've decided to take advantage of my current self-employed freelancer slash contractor time and use my free time to catch up on my reading. I actually don't have a lot of time during the school year to read when I'm teaching. Well, to read for fun anyways. So I have been collecting quite a few books. I also kind of got rid of a lot of books in this purge to like, declutter. But I'm kind of regretting that now. And I think I'm gonna go back to my just buying more bookshelves when I run out of space. I tried to just keep my favorites that I thought I would actually reread, but then I ended up just having to buy some books again. Well, let's take a look at the books. This one was recommended to me by the bookstore staff from my local bookstore. Super Fake Love Song by David Yoon. It's not a new release, but it is a young adult romance novel. And it sounds like it has a super cute premise, like one of them's faking being in a band based on misunderstanding. I'm sure hilarious things follow. His wife also happens to be a writer, so I also wanted to pick up her book. The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I can't imagine being a writer and married to another writer. I would get a little competitive, I think. And they both wrote their novels in two perspectives. They're both young adult romances. They're both in two perspectives, so like each chapter is from her perspective and then his perspective, so it kind of alternates between the two main characters. So I wonder if they collaborated on that beforehand. Anyways, I know that's a very popular style. For adult romance, I'm gonna go with the classic Emily Henry beach read. I was actually gonna take this on my beach vacation with my family and read it on the beach. Perfect summer reading. But as you know, due to a sick kid, I ended up not actually making it to the beach. So I'll just have to read this adult romance for myself. Okay, so even though I didn't get to read it on the beach, I'm just going to read it as a fun summer read now. It's adult romance, so okay, it is a little spicy, but come on, it's Emily Henry, so I gotta read her. I read a bunch of her other stuff. The People You Meet on Vacation, Funny Story, but I haven't read her newest one. But I picked up this one first. I didn't want to get it right away. It took me a couple trips to the bookstore to finally decide to get it because it's about two writers, and sometimes this breaks the suspension of disbelief when you're like reading a book about people writing a book. But pretty confident anything she writes is going to be good. So this other one also took me a bunch of times before I got it. This is the third book in the Legend Born cycle. This is Oathbound. Look how fat it is. Oh my gosh. And this is a cool signed copy. So check this out. And I was carrying it around with me for a while. My kids were laughing at me because it's so huge. But it's based on the King Arthur legend, so that's and it's a young adult fantasy. Okay, I have a horrible memory, so I don't really remember book 1 and book 2 because that's the problem with waiting for reading the series as it comes out. Takes a while for the next book. So previously, like my kids read kids and I both loved the Keeper of Lost Cities series, and so like whenever a book would come out, we would reread the whole series. Like even when 9 1/2 came out, we read 1 through 9 again. But I don't know, if I'm gonna get through my stack here, I might not be able to do that. So maybe I'll just look online. I like to read reviews on Common Sense Media because it kind of gives an age recommendation too. And there's parent reviews and then there's kid reviews. So you get a balance of both sides and a little recap of the story. And I think that'll be enough because usually in a sequel or the third book, they'll give you like a little recap of what happened before, which is only really annoying if you just read the book you know, in the series and you're reading the whole series at once and you're like, yeah, I know. But it's actually very useful. It's been a year since you read the other book. So what are you reading? Well, let me know in the comments and check out my other videos to get more book recommendations. I'm also eventually going to post a book reading list. I'm working on it right now so that you can have a link to this bookstore called bookshop.org, and it supports local bookstores. So when the local store doesn't have it, I like to order it online, and then part of the profit goes to the local bookstore that you pick. So that's pretty awesome. I have a little bit of a more weighty literary adult fiction book, The Vanishing Half. I don't know if you have heard of it. It's very popular, but this has also been on my bookshelf for well, this one's been on my bookshelf for over a year, but as I said, I don't have a lot of time to read during the year. Okay, the premise of this book is about two twins, and they're both black, but one of them can pass as white. So I guess they go and live their separate lives, and then later they meet up again, and then I think the point is going to be they're going to compare how different their lives were, but I'm not sure yet. I don't really want to find out too much more about this one because I know it's going to be good, and I don't want to like already know stuff. I want to be surprised. So I'm not going to check out any reviews for this one. Just definitely going to go for it. Another book that was really good that I just like waited forever to read was Cloud Cuckoo Land, another amazing adult fiction book. I don't know why it took so long to read it, especially since someone compared some of my writing projects that I did to the author, and so, aw shucks. Okay, this next book I've actually already read. It's called Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven, and all I remember is that it was so beautiful and amazing that I wanted to dog ear the pages. I would never do that because what kind of monster dogs ear the pages are? Don't get me started on the book binding. Anyways, but again, I have a horrible memory, so I don't actually remember what the book is about. Just that there's like two young kids, a girl and a boy, and they're like part of different social crowds in, I think, high school, and then they end up becoming friends or falling in love. I'm not sure because I don't remember. Oh no, this is terrible. Okay, but again, the chapters flip back and forth between the two perspectives. So to help me with my little memory issue, because I was also like buying the same book over again, I finally downloaded this app that someone recommended. It's called Book Buddy, and the free version lets you scan up to 50 books, which is totally awesome. So then, like, if I'm at the bookstore and I want to buy a book, I'm like, oh no, I don't remember if I already have this. I just look up and see if I have it. I went ahead and paid the $5.99 to get the full access because I definitely have more than 50 books. And I like the feature that you can keep track of books that you lend out to friends and stuff. I mean, as a teacher, that would have been awesome because I probably lost so many books to kids. But it's actually really fun when they come back years later and they're like, ha ha ha, I still have this book. It's so sweet. Okay, the last book is another one that I have been saving, I guess, to read. Momo Arashima Steals the Sword of the Wind. Okay, anyways, she's a local author and she did an author talk at my old school. And I didn't get to go to it, but I heard about it and I was inspired, so I definitely want to read this. Plus, I know book 2 is already out, so if I get really into it, and I can get that one. And this one is a middle grade fantasy, or I guess they call it juvenile fiction, but I think middle grade sounds way better. And in the bookstore, that's how they've categorized it, but for some reason online, it's the book publishers say juvenile fiction. But anyways, that's it for my July list. I'm so excited to get reading. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are reading, and of course like and subscribe so you can keep up with the next book videos, and I'll let you know how it goes in my July wrap up. Bye!